Today's broadcast is brought to you by Pomponio Ranch, located in a peaceful Today's broadcast is brought to you by Pomponio Ranch, located in a peaceful, scenic valley between San Gregorio and Pescadero. Pomponio Ranch breeds, raises, sells, and trains world-class show-jumping horses. Chosen from top European bloodlines, Pomponio Ranch stallions have enjoyed outstanding careers at heights of 1.50 m, and their breeding mares have had successful jumping careers, with many achieving elite status from the Belgian Warm Blood Society. Visit them online at pomponioranchstallions.com.
109 years of human life and two hands screaming, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, now. Retinas racing out of their sockets, scouting for the millimetre of tarmac between euphoria and the grass. 120 decibels booming in your bone marrow. Take a deep breath in.
Welcome to California, to the Desert International Horse Park, as we bring you leg 9 of Major League Show Jumping. And this week is the final showdown for the individual competitors.
Certainly is, and a massive showdown it is. The $1 million Coachella Cup is the final Grand Prix of the season. Not only does the winner walk away with a lot of prize money from that and the prestige, but also the individual championship to be decided as well. And there's some big contenders there, including Californian Carl Cook, winner of the Grand Prix here last year, will have his eye on that trophy once again, and could be a massive week for him. What about Ken Farrington, though? Last year's champion of the series. He's also in the top 3, as is World Championship US rider Lily Keenan, with that win in Ottawa behind her as well. It's going to be a tough week.
Yes, we have a fantastic lineup of the world's very best in attendance here, who are all vying for points and top placings in the individual standings. But can Carl Cook be beaten? In today's qualifying competition, we'll set the order of go for Saturday's Grand Prix. The better they finish today, the later they'll go on Saturday.
Yeah, looking for prime position at that last spot. Who will get it? Well, only way to find out is follow this through. And this is where the road to the final championship of Major League Show Jumping individual series takes place this week. This is a big one.
Yes, welcome to the Desert International Horse Park for leg 9 of Major League Show Jumping. Great to see the order of go there. Some fantastic names on the list today, some fantastic horses to look out for as well. We've got Olympic riders here, World Championship riders, Pan-American Games riders and European Championships riders all in attendance, and that just tells you the depth of the field in terms of riders, but also lots of top horses to look out for as well. We have an absolutely stacked first half in this competition. Plenty of riders to look out for here. 8 of the top 50 in the world just in the top half of this class alone. What we're looking for here is a clear round, and they want to get through to the jump off, as of course you have come to expect from these qualifying competitions. The later they are able to go in Saturday night's Grand Prix, the better. So they want as good a finish as possible in today's competition. But of course, this is also a competition in its own right, and the riders will be going for the lion's share of today's prize money, trying to get to the top of the podium. Well, some of those names to look out for, of course, we have Carl Cook, we have the likes of Erin Ballard coming forward here as well. Kent Farrington was just walking the course here in the ring just a few moments ago. Connor Swale, also another rider to look out for. He's been super consistent, not only individually, but also in the team competition as well. And that also demonstrates to you the fact that we have riders from all over the world in attendance here in California, all battling it out for the top spots. Plenty to look out for there. Beautiful setting here, of course. We've got fantastic top sport in this location, which is renowned for top level sporting action. The likes of golf, tennis, you name it. Those sports are top of the range here in California. And of course, this location is also known for its cultural activities as well. The Coachella Music Festival taking place just steps away from here. Well, we'll be kicking things off with the national anthem, of course, to get things underway. And the first horse is coming into the ring in just a few moments' time.
And a very good afternoon, and we are set to go into coming up for what is going to be the Pomponio Ranch Grand Prix Qualifier. Looking across at the San Juan Mountains here at the Desert Horse Park, and a fabulous afternoon. And so already a little bit of dusk floating around because the days aren't too long here. We get under the lights through most of the big classes for the week here at the desert here in La Quinta. And it is a wonderful week, not only, of course, with the jumping in this ring, but it is a plethora of rings across the whole of these grounds. They're busy, busy, busy all the way around. And though the culminations of the major jumping this week include the Coachella Cup, the $1 million US class that will take place here on Saturday night. So make sure you join us for that. And that's the culmination of the individual championship as well for Major League Show Jumping. 2 weeks of competition here from the Desert Horse Park. And both those we'll see across this arena with our course designer, Alan Wade. And we're almost set for action for this upcoming first of the Grand Prix qualifiers. For those that follow on a regular basis, you'll know that this also is key in setting the order for the Grand Prix, as is the individual class as a run up through the teams that comes up tomorrow as well. Team class, of course, is tomorrow evening. Make sure you join us for that. And then on Saturday night for the $1 million Coachella Cup as well. And so just the last few moments for our first about to make their way down the tunnel into the arena to take on Alan Wade's course. 13 numbered fences on the track, and we will be underway in our jump-off class. So clears, in theory, going forward to round 2. So it looks like they're under starters orders. First making their way in is Charlie Jones. Charlie, these days based out in California, originally from Great Britain, from a very good jumping heritage. Of both his parents were competitive international jumpers, and actually riding for a local owner as well in the Morningstar Sport Horses, Carrie Rufer, who herself has competed in a host of these big classes here, but this time he's picking up her ride. That actually he took over the ride back in August of this year. Carrie riding this one previously. And the two getting on very well, so she said, okay, well, let's take them on into the big classes. And Capital 6 is the Holsteiner by Cassini for Charlie. Charlie making more and more moves up into the bigger classes, and being a great move for him to base himself out in the United States here. And going to be our first of the lineup. So it's a pretty new combination with Charlie. Plenty of room for these first couple of fences. Back to the palms, water tray underneath this one. 152 there. Just leans onto that top bar of the vertical. Takes them nicely down into this double. And back to the sandals, the flip-flops. Little skinny there. Maybe an option down there to play with the striding a little bit from 5 to 6. Probably going to ride down there on 5, but we'll see. Gets a little tighter up to that double. Gets high, but doesn't get the width across. So newer partnership. It's one of the bigger classes they've jumped. Finished well in a Grand Prix and ranking classes at Thunderbird up in Vancouver earlier on this year. We'll see how that fares against this time allowed of 76 seconds. Final fence coming up. And, well, they'll be fine for time at 74.44. 3 down for them, though, this time. As I say, they keep moving up the ranks together. Been a very short period of partnership so far. Gets height. Finishes well. And so leaves them on the 12 faults for Charlie Jones and Capital 6. So good guy for time there. 74.44 looks achievable against that time allowed of 76. And one who's never usually too troubled by the time allowed is Ashley Bond, and Ashley with her own Donatello. Very fast pair. We've seen them win big Grand Prix before now, and Hannah's made her way up into the commentary box. Hannah, give me some stats on them, just to prove my point.
Yes, fantastic combination here. As you say, really successful. They were second in our qualifying class in Monterey. Of course, that was just the previous leg of the series that we had. That was brilliantly fast round. This combination also came second in the American Gold Cup. Brilliant jump-off round by them, just pipped by Carl Cook in that competition as well, but extremely consistent. They also were on the winning Nations Cup team in Prague, clinching an Olympic qualification as well. Had wins down in Wellington as well. And, you know, if you listed all of this horse's successes, you would be here a very long time indeed. But as you say, super quick horse. Ashley always says that she really trusts this horse to jump extremely well and carefully despite the speed. And she's a really fast rider as well. Makes quite light work of the double there. Oh, what a pity.
Yeah, just started to get a little short through the double, then just carrying on. Follows through to have just that fence down, which is a shame, as you say. Down to the last, just holding for that.
But look at the time, as you say,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
She's well inside the time allowed. It almost rides these like a speed class.
Well, it's just their natural pace.
Yeah,
exactly. It's the way she's used to going. Yeah. It's the way she's always gone. Went very nicely down this line early on. Plenty to get their teeth into this track as well. Ashley there finishing just on the 4. very early stages. Going to see over 40 in this opening Grand Prix qualifying class. Ashley Bond, who's of course been team key player as well before now with Team Helios. We'll be talking teams somewhat this week, but then in full force next week for the final as well. Change over into the tunnel, and making their way out now is Colombia's Roberto Terran and the Trefoil Farms BP Wakita. And actually an Irish sport horse by Pacino. And Pacino, who's actually now getting more and more of some top flight horses featuring Pacino. Actually, not with us, but it has seen the likes of Pacino and Miro with Bertram Allen, and they're coming into their age group now to really make an impact. So on this 10-year-old for Roberto, just back, he's had big weeks over the last few weeks, including Pan Am Games, and for him a super start to the season in Wellington, Florida as well. But he's been very consistent. Yeah,
very consistent. You know, this horse is most established to this level.
Yeah.
They're 53% of the time clear over the fences at 1.50 m. Only done 5 rounds above this height. So, you know, you know that this is really where they're most comfortable, they're most established. But as with the horse only being a 10-year-old, there's plenty of time to be stepping up to even bigger fences. But there's certainly plenty for them to tackle in this course. This horse has been extremely consistent in terms of placings as well. They've been in the top 10 20 times in international competition this year alone. Pretty incredible record.
Nice even pace down on the 5 between 5 and 6. 3, 4, easy done. Just really nice rhythm down there. Balance, not hurried. Should be good for time. He's not rushing Wakita around. Double of verticals, little testing down there. Both those at 150. And then looking like he's good for time. He gives himself a little bit of space back to 12. Just reaches a little for that back bar and unfortunately just clips it. Going to be on the 4, 70.71. So not looking like time is going to be one of the crucial factors here this afternoon. But as again with an Alan Wade course, just a little pole here, pole there, just very light. Down they come. And just puts 4 on the scoreboard for Roberto Terran and BP Wakita.
One of those competitions where a fast 4 certainly could be quite valuable as well.
Yeah.
Ashley Bond the fastest so far.
We'll see how it pans out. Lacey Gilbertson and Hollywood, quite a way to go yet with the 11-year-old Dutch horse by Nabab Dorev for Lacey, US rider from Lake Forest to Illinois, and part of the Spico Spies this season as well. Had a super run last year in several of the big 5-star Grand Prix. Just been, again, building some new horses through as well this season. Hollywood getting an outing with Lacey this time.
Yeah, Hollywood's a ride that she took on from Shane Sweetnam, and of course she trains with Shane and is his teammate on the Spico Spies. But Hollywood has jumped 7 clears internationally with Lacey herself. And at this height, this combination are 58% of the time clear. You know, it's a horse that jumps very consistently, and as you say, Lacey's kind of having a little bit of a building year. She was very impressive with her more established rides in the team competition in 2022. And just building some of these rides up this year.
Just turning a fraction tighter to that double, just has the first of the verticals down on the line of 7 to 8. Gets underneath the Oakland Fetcheur, saying, wait, there. Yeah, it's going to lead them as well at the double. Just shaking things up again down to the golden horses at the next at 10, we're at 11. Nice shot down to the last. Going to leave them on a score of 12, 72.79. So 3 down for Lacey Gilbertson, this time with the 11-year-old Hollywood. Good way to go. Couple of 4 falters, couple on a dozen. Just trying to anchor down into that double and just unfortunately has the first part of those two verticals. Connor Swale and Theo 160. Connor, I think, was in the winner's circle about an hour ago in a different class. 11-year-old Holsteiner gelding this time by Christian 25. And Theo been well established now for the Manon Farm and for the Irishman.
Yeah, Connor, the winner of the 2-star class earlier on today. Hoping to continue his winning streak.
Always nice to have heard your national anthem in the last hour.
Now, I will stop talking about the clear round rates here, but actually this combination are really, really impressive.
Yeah, just give us the good ones.
Yeah, 2/3 of the time this combination jump clear, and they're actually in the top 10 over fences of this height 71% of the time.
That's a good stat.
That's really impressive. Just really shows you their consistency. This has been a key horse for Connor for the Major League team competitions as well. Of course, he's on the Trailblazers squad this year. He's been riding a few different horses, but Theo is one of them. Connor, of course, the winner of the World Cup leg in Las Vegas recently as well.
Yeah, and very much at home here at the Desert Horse Park. He competes here a lot over the winter, actually splits his time, or certainly did a lot this year, between here and Wellington, Florida. But has a lot of base in here in California as well. Spends a lot of time here. And they're getting in a strong group. Going to be here for the winter this season as well. Connor. Nice run so far. Back to the Oxer, just bringing it home. And this is why they're a consistent clean round jumping pair, and they're going to add to it. 72.54 and clear there for Connor Swale and Theo 160. That gives us clear round number 1 of this Pomponio Ranch sponsored Grand Prix qualifier here this afternoon. Of course, the base of Carl Cook, based here in California as well. Jimmy Torano, Koshio Z, 9-year-old by talent for Jimmy. One of 2 horses here this week that he's got now into the top flight again. Of course, he's been there well established. It's been nice to see him with some terrific rounds on Chewbacca this year. And Koshio Z, super careful horse, really impressive. Watch this one in the warm-up earlier on this week as well. Going to be really interested to see how they go. They had a couple of time faults then, but again, they weren't quite so under pressure. Just going to put a little bit more pressure on this time for Jimmy and this 9-year-old. Going to be really interested to see how they perform, but I think one very much on the upward swing. Jimmy as at home in the hunter ring as he is in the jumping ring, but been well established in both. Not wasting any time today.
He's just building this horse up to this level. They've only done 5 rounds at this height in their career together. So just now trying to get the miles on the clock and build the confidence at the higher fences.
Careful enough through the double of verticals. You say it's going to be mileage for them. So really going to be interested to see Chewbacca coming out this week as well, because that's been really consistent this year. Won at the Hampton Classic in the Grand Prix qualifier there. Going to leave him on the 8 at 72.01. So 2 down for Jimmy Torano and Koshio Z. 1 clear with Connor Swale and Theo 160 as it stands at this stage. Of course, is Elisa Bros of here in California. Hidalgo of San Francisco's Crispo R. Hi, Casal. So who's a regular here and has been competing in a number of the recent World Cup qualifiers as well.
Yeah, she jumped in Sacramento last month, in October, in fact, for a 7th place finish there. So really good result for her with this horse, who has been ridden by a number of top riders in its career. This horse hasn't been jumping in the 5-star competitions for quite some time. The last was in 2021, and that was with Dara Kenny as an 8-year-old.
Yeah. And Lisa training with Cassia Rivetti. Only a young rider, or just out of the young riders from that point of view. She was a medalist in young riders, and now moving up to the next level.
Yeah, she sits 23rd in the under-25 world rankings. So many talented riders on that young rider ranking, so 23rd is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and it'll be a good winter for her as well, based here, giving that regular FEI exposure as well into those international classes too, to give her plenty of big tracks to have a run at. What about those building years? But for her, going to get home with a total of 16 at 73.91. Drops 4 fences for Elisa Bros and Crispo R on the 10-year-old by Casal for the young US rider. Cliff Connor-Swale, Ashley Bond sitting in second at the moment on the 4. Roberto Duran on the 4 at this stage. Coming into view is Charlotte Jacobs and the North Stars of East Aurora, New York's Rincula Milchon, the Irish-bred horse. And actually has really been one of her top seasons so far, 2023. Consistent through a host of Grand Prix. Last year saw her onto the US teams. And this year, stepping up another level as well. And now onto the team competition for Major League Jumping too.
Yeah, Charlotte making a couple of appearances for the Crusaders very successfully.
Yep.
She's had some really good clears with this horse for the Crusaders. But as you say, she's jumped very well this year. Jumped particularly well at Angelstone. That was, of course, leg 3 of the series. Had a 4th place finish and a 5th place finish in some 5-star classes there. And then more recently, she went to Las Vegas to jump in at the World Cup show there and had a 6th place finish and a 2nd. So lots of good results, lots of consistency demonstrated for this pair already this year, and certainly a pair on form.
And certainly in between her and husband Matt, they've been very good at bringing the young horses along. Great family support there as well. And they're just now hit this year. Perfect age, perfect spot to really start moving up. She just had a really good start to the season. I think it was out on the grass field at Wellington. Great result there. Finished sort of top 5 and then just built and built and built throughout the year. So again, she's been able to build the confidence, build the horses. Are just now hitting their peak for this year. I think next year as well is going to be an exciting one for them. But she's been competing over in Europe as well. Drops a pole there, unfortunately.
Had quite a strong pace up there from 9 to 10.
Still in the money at the moment, but like we said, big part of these classes now is also the reverse order for the Grand Prix. When you consider this week's Coachella Cup is a $1 million US dollar class as well. There's a lot on the line. Leaves them on the 474.76, so 1 down for Charlotte Jacobs and Rincula Milchon now. Lily Keane in the meantime with Chili Pepper MHZ, and there's a younger horse coming through for her, 8-year-old by Kornatov Olenski for Lily and the Chasnote Farm of New York, and again has been one really to be getting excited about. I know 8 years of age, just starting to their first real FEI season, but the results we've seen from them so far, she just looks so confident with this horse as well. It's a very impressive jumper.
Yeah, this is a super talented horse. This is one that Lily was actually riding in the young horse classes only last year. It's just an 8-year-old even now, which seems quite incredible when you think of some of the competitions we've seen them in placed 5th at Spruce Meadows in a very competitive 5-star class in the summer. They've been getting ever more consistent.
And again, it's about smart placing, putting them into the right arenas, moving up at the right time, giving them a little break. All the other processes that they go through to produce a young horse, not over-facing an 8-year-old this year, but they've just been able to move them up at the right time, jumps at big enough tracks to show their ability, build the confidence, and this is going to be an exciting one. Just going to be on the 4 faults this time there for Lily. It's at 73.18, and so leaves them with the 1 down for the US rider. Lily, of course, one of the contenders for the individual title this weekend.
Yeah, sits in 2nd place in the individual standings. Of course, had that fantastic win in Ottawa, but she's had some consistent placings outside that as well, which has really seen her be able to pick up the points. And she is the closest challenger to Carl Cook. But depending on how he jumps, Lily could be in with a shot as well.
As could quite a few in the field as well. It's going to be a really interesting class because, of course, also it's going to be a massive class, massive money. So there's going to be no holding back. It's going to be a real meaty one to get stuck into, which we're looking forward to. And another lady who's got stuck into big jumping this year is actually the FEI's Rising Star winner recently too, Mimi Gotchman. And the Gotchman Sport Horses Cosmos BH again has continued her progression from junior gold medalist to young rider gold medalist, and then on to youth equestrian games that were in Aachen as well. Medalist there too as part of teams and individual training with Dara Kenny these days. And again, still in her teens, moving up very nicely.
She is such an impressive young rider, and you know it's no wonder she's won that Rising Star award. She's in the top 100 in the world. She's 5th in the under 25 rankings. One really impressive result that, of course, some of you will remember from earlier on in the season was she finished 3rd in the 5-star Grand Prix at Angelstone. That one was won by Kent Farrington, and Mimi was on the podium there alongside the very best in the world. Just such an impressive performance. She also placed 2nd in the 5-star winning round class that we had at Traverse City earlier on. And this horse jumps clear really consistently for her.
Yeah, just nicely down. Very controlled round. Super done. Nice rhythm. 72.18 going clear there for Mimi Gotchman and Cosmos BH. So makes us with the 2 clears so far, Mimi and Connor Swale. Let's say Mimi on that path this year. She's part of Team KPF this week as well, who's going to get prime draw in tomorrow's team class as well. So Mimi Gotchman continues her rise through the season. All seasons are full of ups and downs, but there's been plenty of ups and highlights in there for young Mimi. Let's go from there to Mark Blumen and the over-the-top stables, Uberluck. And, well, when you catch my teeth, you can carry on, Hannah.
Yeah, Mark, consistent rider as well. Uberluck is the ride here today.
Yeah, ride that was with cousin Daniel for a little while.
Yes, just an 11-year-old. This one, I was going to say, so quite in the prime of their career together. Again, quite a fast combination. We haven't seen Mark perform onto the podium yet in one of our Grand Prix, but you know, being a rider who's very much among the world's best, I'm sure he'll have an eye on a good finish in the Grand Prix later on this week if he can. Mark's also helped Team Helios to some good placings this year. They've been a little bit unlucky.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great one to have on the team because he doesn't ride for second.
No, absolutely. Really keeps a foot to the floor. Ah, the gold fence there over on the far side of the arena as we're looking at it just comes down again. That's catching quite a few riders out.
Yeah, going to get home with the 4 as well. Going to be another with just 1 down on the scorecard. 73.19 for Mark Blumen and Uberluck. So good team rider to have in their pocket as well. Several on the 4 now. Ashley Bond, quickest of them at 70.28. Going into 6th there. Part of Team Helios also for Mark Blumen here this week. And Matt Archer now. Matt's actually based here as well for the Reese Farms of Woodside, California. Luigi van der Bisschop. And this is the mare by Bemeko de Muse. Matt, that we've seen through a number of the Californian shows, of course, with his home base over here. He occasionally he's headed up to the likes of Traverse City, some of the World Cup shows as well for Matt, and has got a good winning record locally as well. So good to see him getting a good shot. 2 big weeks of 5 stars here at the Desert Horse Park. Not only giving those that are well-established global stars a good shot, but some of the more very talented local riders some good opportunity to get some 5-star exposure here without having to go too far down the road.
Yeah, Matt's been jumping all around California this year in a number of these top-level shows over on the West Coast. With this horse, he's never been out of the top 20 all year. Been in the top 10 7 times. Been really strong over fences up to 1.45 m in height. This is a slight step up for them.
Yeah. But again, I think, you know, from what I've seen of them this year, they could be in for a good result. Okay, we've had 1 fence down, but if we can get home with that, still not a bad day at the office. Okay, a couple down for Matt so far. Connor Swale and Mimi Gottschalk with the 2 clears. Stands off that Oxford a little bit more. Going very well until the double. Just unfortunately dropping a couple in that final few fences. Takes them to 12.73.90 for Matt Archer and Luigi van der Bisschop. Sean Jobin to come into view for the Canadian rider with the Antrim Equestrians R Cougar by Arco III. 12-year-old, that is by the top horse Arco. Arco, who was the horse that Nick Skelton rode at the Olympics, amongst others. Won some of the biggest Grand Prix around the world. I think actually won Spruce Meadows Grand Prix going back in my mind. But certainly was very close to a gold medal in Athens in 2004. R Cougar, who was based over in the UK for a little while, including with the Renix, and now has made his way with a new acquisition this year for Sean Jobin.
Yes, just a horse that he's been riding since July of this year. Most latterly, this horse was with James Smith of Great Britain.
Scotland, to be exact.
Yes. But Sean's been jumping well with this horse. 15 clears internationally and 8 times in the top 10 with our Cougar.
Yeah, it's been a very good opportunity for him to have another horse in the string with 5-star ability. Looked to have a good warm-up yesterday.
It's quite a powerful horse, this, and certainly one that's taking Sean around this course at some pace. It'll be really interesting to see them in the jump-off. Not to be today with a pole down, but certainly be interesting to see them over a course where speed is of the essence.
Yeah, and just encourages them to get across the Oxes there. It is on the 4.69.19 there for Sean Jobin and Cougar this time, but a very fast 4 will actually go ahead of Ashley Bond, so goes into 3rd place at the moment for the Canadian Mimi Gottschalk and Connor Swale, the 2 clears so far from this Pomponio Ranch Grand Prix qualifier here this afternoon. 76,000 Canadian dollars in the prize fund for this class, part of this massive week, including, I say, the Coachella Cup, which will be presented by Brand Advisory later on into the week as well. Sean Jobin there heads out on the 4, keeping the flags flying with Australia and Katie Laurie and Boom. 9-year-old, in fact, New Zealand bred. Katie actually originally from New Zealand. And family were very well known in the equestrian world, linked to New Zealand. Then she went on to ride for Australia. Unfortunately, early fence down for her, but she's got a terrific record. World Championships, Olympic Games. She's competed all of those. And then in the last few years came to be based up in Canada. Boom, I don't think has had quite the exposure into the big classes yet.
No, they've actually only competed up to metre 45 in height, and only 4 rounds there. It's a horse that's been quite lightly competed, really, and this is very much a step up for them. They've been, you know, the majority of their rounds have actually been at the kind of 130, 135 height. So really interesting to see this combination stepping up. Educational round for them.
Boom getting a chance to get some mileage, and again, if she's basing down here through the winter, which I think she is, it'll give her a terrific opportunity to get this horse out on a regular basis into big competition. Going to be on a total of 12 at 81.12, so plus time will take them to 18 there for Katie Laurie and Boom. McLean Ward, First Lady for Robin Parsky of Florida. Playing with First Lady and Contagious here this week, coming in on the back of course, that team gold at the Pan Am Games. That was with Contagious on that occasion. And First Lady has been really delivering this year as well, the 10-year-old by Don Diorado Supermare for McLean. We'll see. Again, very hard to look past him in most big weeks as well. He'll be here with a mission this week too.
Yeah, certainly in the Grand Prix, but also I think for the team, for the Roadrunners, they are the team in second place and home advantage here in California at the Desert Horse Park for them. But McLean, as you say, you know, some great horses in his string. First Lady is one that he's been really stepping up to the top level. Had a second place and a win in Toronto at the Royal Winter Fair there. But this is a horse that's jumped clear very consistently. Jumped 3 clear rounds for the Roadrunners across a couple of different locations. And they're clear 60% of the time at this height, 64% of the time in the top 10. Really consistent. Again, we've got a good pace up here as we're just heading down to the final line. 2 in the jump off so far. McLean Ward just has the 1 fence to go. Yeah, perfectly done.
Well, not a big surprise. And there we go with the clear 71.40. And McLean Ward and First Lady onto the clear round list alongside Mimi Gotchman and Connor Swale. Erin Ballard now, and Libido Van Hofken. Now, we saw Erin with this horse in Monterey a few weeks ago, and new horse for her, for Sophia Pompescu of British Columbia, now for the Canadian, and looked very impressive, actually finished well in those Grand Prix just a few weeks ago.
Yes, they really did. They finished second, in fact, one of only 3 double clears in Monterey. That was won by Richard Vogel, who was really quick there, but only 5 jumped clear to go through to the jump off. So Erin really consistent, but she's been consistent all season. You know, second in Monterey, also placed 5th in Toronto and 4th in Vancouver. Those other 2 results coming with Gakia. Quite the string of horses that we've seen her with this year. And that's why she sits, she's on equal points with Kent Farrington in the individual standings. So equal third, and you know, while the top three as well, including Kent in our season standings, have had a win. It's been Erin's consistency with those 3 top 5 placings that's seen her also in the mix.
Erin calmly bringing them home. Say good result a few weeks ago. A horse that hasn't been so exposed to those big classes and has done very well over those few weeks, finishing on the 4 at 73.31. Just the 1 rail dropped for Erin Ballard and Libido van Hofken. Uses at the 3 clears with McLean Ward, Mimi Gotchman and Connor Swale so far. And Marie Longham and Echo de Verdun, rider representing Norway, as she has done right the way through to championship level. Lovely to see her here again making an appearance at the Desert Horse Park. Long way for home for them, but as I say, there's been quite a few Europeans heading over. Gregory Watherley as well, and of course those coming with them have added to the mix too. So Gregory, who's going to be over here for the season, Marie as well. And then we've got the introduction this week. Cian O'Connor with us. A number of the Irish with us this week, but a number of them that have been usually competing over in Europe as well. Marie been established for a long time now as part of the Norwegian squad at championships. Nice and calmly through the double. Nice easy 5 down to the Uxor again. They just want to use a little bit of that corner, but just keep them off that vertical enough. Just wait. Horse should come up nicely down there, which it does. Might just be a little bit close on time is the only thing. It's been a very nice deliberate round so far. Might be wrong, but we'll see. Time has been generous enough. That's a shame. Just casually the rail off the front of the Golden Horse's Head Oxer. Just coming home with the 4, and like I say, it's going to be a little bit on there for time as well. 78.17, and so that's going to take them up to a score of 7. 3 to add on there for Marie Longham of Norway. And Echo de Verdun takes her into 11th spot at the moment. All eyes on the top 3 at the stage, with Connor Swale, Mimi Gotchman and McLean Ward. Carl Cook, Kalinka van Zugvliet. For those that have seen her winning here before, that was the Grand Prix here last year as well for Carl. Sydney Osby of Woodside, California's Kalinka. Regular winner, of course, he's had 2 wins in the Grand Prix this season on the Major League Jumping Tour as well. Both of those in Traverse City back in August and at the American Gold Cup. Carl actually leading the individual championship, as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, for Major League Jumping as well. It's been part of the winning teams before now too. Really superb combination, of course, with Caracol as well. He was recently also part of the team at the Pan Am Games that won gold. Just see by his hand, unfortunately had an injury earlier on this week. He's coping with well. Picks up at home, not on the horse. But actually, looks like he's not letting it get to him too much. And he is not going to give away this week if he can. He's going to have 4 faults there. But overall, as I say, it's been very much an up and down week. Just dropping one fence there. Good round, 70.51 for Carl Cook, sets them up. He'll go into 6th place so far with Kalinka. And Carl keeping his chances of the championship alive. Well, he has a good lead, and it's double points on the final as well. So it is not done and dusted from that point of view. Carl goes into 6th, and we'll again have eyes on this one this week, especially after winning here last year too. So he's battling some adversity this week as well, but so far doing well to overcome it as much as possible. Look across the arena, then to the local airport in the distance as well. Very easy to literally fly in and out of the Desert Horse Park. Blue skies once again here in California this week, which is nice for the Grand Prix qualifier. Vanessa Hood. And Vanessa with what's been a new ride for her this season with Vins. Was ridden by McLean Ward, who she trains with a little bit before that. Actually was owned by Laura Kraut and Nick Skelton. And now I've had a good few rounds together for Vanessa, part of the team for Team Helios. Vanessa, who's these days based over in Florida, but has been at times based over here on the West Coast as well. Been establishing herself back into the 5-star level. Took a long time break with family and a different career. Now it's coming back into jumping in a big way. Again, most of them taking that second fence a little bit on the angle. Picks up nicely over it. Good pace as well so far. Again, gets right up into the corner here, coming into this line, giving herself space. Nothing wrong with that, as long as they don't lose time later on, but the time should be giving them a little bit of breathing space as well. Might just need to hustle home a little bit here. Oh, has a tap of just toes off the front bar as well. And they're going to leave them at 76.33. So just one for time. Just pushes them a little over the time allowed of 76. And so a total of 5 for Vanessa Hood and Vance. Still leaving us at 3 clears with McLean Ward, Mimi Gotchman and Connor Swale. Cassio Rivetti and Odessa's Vidal 8. The Brazilian for the Monarch Farms, based here in California these days as well. He's competed all around the world though, right the way through to major championship level. Superb rider who's now built a business out here in California. Quietly down to the double. Just keeping a lid on everything, just nicely using the power. A little bit of a move up in terms of pace down to that line. Wait, just don't want to travel too much down that line and flick away the top of that vertical. Most haven't. several just starting to have rails into the latter part of the course. On the 8. Final fence as well, going to take them to a dozen. 73.28 for Cassia Rivetti, and Edessa's Vidal 8 for the 11-year-old by Vigo da Sway. So the 3 clears after the first half completed of this Grand Prix qualifying class, and it is going to be so far Conoswell, Mimi Gotchman and McLean Ward in this Pomponio Ranch sponsored opening big 5-star class of the week. Thanks to them once again, and based down in the peaceful scenic valley between San Gregorio and Pescadero. They breed, raise, sell and train world-class show jumping horses as well. You can find out more at their website, which is pomponio.ranchstallions.com. And we're going to be handing over to Hannah as we go into a very short break.
Yes, it's been a really tricky course here already this afternoon. I'm joined by Erin Ballard. Erin, just the one pole down. Talk us through the round and what do you think is making it so tricky today?
I think it's a big enough course. I think that it's a good lead-in for what the rest of the week is supposed to bring for us. You know, we have a good idea that we're going to jump big and hard. So I think it's a good setup. Funny enough, the weather changed extremely today, and I think you're seeing fresh horses, maybe a little distracted in the wind, and big jumps.
Talk us through your plan for the week, because you've got a couple of different horses here, and you've been really consistent in this series so far.
This week, we're going to use Gakir in the Grand Prix, and we jumped Libido today to set him up for the team final next week.
So who do you think could win today?
Gakir.
Best of luck and congratulations today.
Thank you so much.
Our future depends on courage, determination, and a shared dream. Hard work creates bonds. We each play our part, and we find strength in the knowledge that our contribution promises a better life for all. Grounded in principle, driven by passion, and dedicated to our proposition, we invest in the present to raise the future. Brown Advisory, supporting the global equine community.
Farm Vet is here to support you and your horse both in and out of the show ring. From our highly trained staff to the best horse health product selection, we care about horses. Life out here can get pretty busy, so shop with Farm Vet in 3 convenient ways: by calling our sales team, shopping online, or stopping by one of our mobile locations. Everything you need is just a few steps away. From brushes and bandages to all of your pharmacy needs, Farm Vet has just what you are looking for. From all of us to you, welcome to Farm Vet. We are Horse Health.
Roberto, unlucky rail there. Talk to me about it.
The mare hasn't been showing in the last 3 weeks. I was busy in Pan Am and going to Portugal. And she's a little rusty, but that was a good rail looking before the Grand Prix.
What's the course like out there?
It's very technical. Alan sets fantastic courses all the time. It's a good start of the week. It has a question in every single line, and it's a pleasure to ride as always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Connor, first clear of the day. How's it out there?
Honestly, I felt it was tough enough. Obviously, I was the first clear there. Alan has a bit of width in those oxers there. My lad was stretching and trying hard there, but he jumped beautifully. And I could have ridden him a little better here and there, but he's a great little horse, so he did the rest for me.
Jimmy, 8 faults, but it looked better than that. How did it feel?
Yeah, I thought the horse jumped well going early. I think I overrode him a little bit. I took the first distance into that double, which put me in a little bit of trouble. But this horse is just stepping up. He's just a 9-year-old, and I was real happy. I was really setting him up for the team tomorrow, the Major League. So I was quite happy with him.
Obviously, it's the first big course of the week. How do you think the course designer's done out there?
You know, Alan's as good as it gets. He's built all over the world. He knows North America very well. He knows these riders. I think he's spot on. Tough enough, but I think it's a very fair course.
Has it tested you in the right ways for tomorrow?
I think so. Like I said, I wanted to jump my horse in a bigger class today to really set him up for tomorrow, and I think it did its job. I think I could have probably come out of there with 4 or maybe even a clear. Like I said, I overrode that double a little bit, but I'm quite happy, and I think the course did its job, sort of gave me a feeling for what I'm going to see tomorrow.
Appreciate you talking to us. Thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah, listen, you know, again, I'm in to try and be competitive. So for sure, we're going to try hard. I'm using Theo for the team tomorrow, so that's obviously still in the back of my mind. But it's great to see him in good form at the start of the week. That's the way we want it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. You know, unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse deaths, and I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
We fly horses anywhere around the world. It's about getting an animal from point A to point B safely in best of health. We do not leave any stone unturned. We give horses wings around the world, across the globe, or across the street.
Well, my goodness me, what a competition we have brought you already this afternoon. A really tricky course, as we were just hearing about there from some of the riders. Fences going down all the way around, and only 3 riders have jumped clear so far. We've got a mix of established talent and young talent in this competition, and that translates as well through to our jump-off lineup so far. Connor Swale, he was just 5th to go in this competition. He sailed through to the jump-off with Theo 160. Really consistent combination. Then he's followed by Mimi Gotchman and Cosmos BH. Fantastic young rider. She's ranked really highly in the under 25 rankings in the world, and she's showing that performance once again here today. McLean Ward is the 3rd rider already through to the jump off as well. First Lady is going to be his ride, and he's sure to be one to watch out for. He always is competitive in these jump offs. We've had a couple of shocks actually in this competition as well. Ashley Bond and Donatello, always very, very quick and always ones to look out for in the jump off. They were the fastest 4 falters, and so they sit in 4th place as it stands. Mark Blumen, another rider who finished with just 1 pole down, and Erin Ballard, also a rider who just had 1 pole down, as we were hearing there. You just take her also into the top 10 as it stands. We've brought you 22 combinations so far, and a further 22 are going to come forward in the second half of this competition. Plenty of big names to look out for there as well, and plenty of those riders who are looking for not only a place in the jump off, but they're looking for the best possible place in Saturday night's Grand Prix. This is an incredible competition already, and what a treat of riders we have still to come for you.
And seeing the next group that we're going to see coming up for this class, and so with 20 or so already completed, our second half not far away. And there, very good list of names. Tiffany Foster, winner of the Vancouver Grand Prix earlier on this year. Caitlin Campbell, and there to Adrian Sterling, to Origa, and Matt Archer with several with second rides here. Erin Ballard included in there with Gakir, Alex Volpe, Belinda, Cassio Rivetti, Billy Dorito, and down to Cara Chaz and Kidarmo F. And let's get things back underway with Caitlin Campbell. And Diaco Blue is going to be our first of the second half. Reminder of those clears we've emphasised several times. Connor Swale, Mimi Gotchman and McLean Ward on that list so far. Caitlin based here in California these days as well, from the SWS Training and Sales of Temecula's ride here. Diaco Blue, mare by Diorado for Caitlin, part of the Roadrunners team. As we said a little earlier on the home ground here, Roadrunners are based from the Desert Horse Park, or that's where their managing team is. And so looking forward to seeing them on home ground over 2 weeks. Of course, team competition, for if you're not quite sure how this is going to work over the next couple of weeks, we have one more team competition to come this week, and next week is the final. So essentially 2 more weeks of team competition. Individual wise will be a full culmination with the Coachella Cup later on this week on Saturday night for that $1 million class. Caitlin Campbell going well so far in the early stages. We've seen plenty of this course now. 76 seconds time allowed, just to remind you, in this ranking class. And it's a good way to kick off the week with a good result, because a good result here will give you a potentially good position in Saturday's Grand Prix as well. So it's a good way to keep the pressure up all week. Just gets underneath that Oakland fence as well. Several on the 4. Fastest of them being Sean Jobin, and our Cougar sits in 4th place at the moment. 9 those 3 clears. Skinny there to finish off at the last plain black pole. Not so easy to get the eye on. Puts them on the 4 at 75.05 for Caitlin Campbell. Nicely done from her, but just with one rail again for Caitlin. Super mix of nations here: Canada, Australia, USA, Ireland, Colombia, Korea, and Egypt, Brazil, Great Britain. Plenty to conjure with in terms of colours for the week, and for flags to fly. Kathleen Driscoll's flag's been flying quite a lot this season, notably in Traverse City up in Michigan, where she was leading rider there through the season. Went superbly then again at the American Gold Cup there in September. This is the Plain Bay Farms Casaletto. It's going to be the 9-year-old by Cascadello. Kathleen Driscoll training with Henri and Katie Prudhomme. Just drifts beyond their position there to have that second fence down, unfortunately. Further on than they would have wanted. Either way, get home with the 4. She's a really good, tough rider. Get stuck in, get some good results. A hard work, and it's really starting to pay off now. Levels them back up for this double. Shadow's just lengthening at the moment, getting it's not that late into the day, but the sunset's very early at this time of year, looking at about 4:30. Fabulous new lighting here, and again we've been enjoying coming here to the Desert Horse Park and seeing yet more improvements to the park since last year. Just keeps getting better and better. On just the 4. Kathleen should be okay inside the time allowed as well. Last fence doesn't cause any problem, and it's 73.55, just leaving them with the 1 fence down for Kathleen Driscoll into 11th place as it stands. Just came to slice that one a little bit, and maybe just a fraction much gets tight on and just has the 2nd fence down for Kathleen. Overall, I say, has been one of her top seasons. The rider hailing from Maryland. Tiffany Foster and Hamilton for the Hamilton group for the Canadian. bases in Wellington, Florida, and up at Langley, up near T-Bird, of course, where our opening stage of Major League was again this year. 2 weeks of 5-star there on that occasion. That was both split across Major League and Nations Cup. She won her first 5-star Grand Prix there, literally on home ground, within a very short distance of where she grew up. So that was an extra special start to the season. On the Canadian team a few weeks ago at the Pan Am Games as well, getting qualification for the Olympics in Paris. Nice spot-on shot to that brown advisory fence at 2. Tiffany is another one that is just in the right form to watch out for this week. Flicks a rail at 4. Coming down nicely for our sponsors fence. Again, we'll see. She gets a little bit tighter round into that turn, but there is plenty of room to play with for what you see as the perfect shot. 2, 3, 4, easily enough. Tiffany not too far off the contention as well for the individual title this week too. So it's quite a broad base to that of those that could play a part of that with double points this week as well. That means the winner would be on 24 points, which could make a big shift up. On the 2 downs so far. Just going to squeeze possibly inside the time allowed, and just going to be, yes, just inside it. As I say, squeezes in there at 75.78. On the 8 there for Tiffany Foster and Hamilton this time, unfortunately. 2 on the ground. But we'll certainly be featuring in our run-up to the big classes here this week, especially after that Grand Prix win earlier on this season. Seems happy enough. Dara Kenny, VDL Cartello, a horse he actually rode at the Olympics in Tokyo for the Heathman Farm. 16 years of age. That's the horse as opposed to Dara. Dara's been around a little bit longer. Been based here in the US for quite some time. Highly successful career that he's had, both riding and training. And now back in with this long-time partner. We've seen him on a string of horses as ever this year. Terrific rider to see. Very good at building a relationship very swiftly with the horse. With top catch rider, but most of his horses in his string these days are well established within the stable, with a good group of owners supporting, including Teddy Vlock and the Heathman Farm.
Yeah, it's a real treat to see this combination in action. As you say, you know, an Olympic ride, and VDL Cartello is a horse that Dara has ridden to so many high-profile competitions. Top 10 in the Rolex Grand Prix of Aachen last year. Top placings in various 5-star Grand Prix all around Europe. 4th in the Rolex Grand Prix of Geneva back in 2021 as well. Incredible record, and you know, as a 16-year-old, he's a horse with plenty of miles on the clock, and Dara always there or thereabouts among the world's very best. He's 16th in the world at the moment.
Yeah, going to be very interesting in the second half as well. Not only, of course, this is an Olympic horse. We've got Bardolina coming up. Several of those that competed into Tokyo. New rides like Keane O'Connor's Highland President that has been going so well, of course, in the Breen stable with Trevor Breen now in the hands of fellow Irishman Keane O'Connor. Looking forward to seeing that as well. Katie Laurie, again, Diango II. There's a horse with plenty of big jumping credentials, as is Kakia and Ace Ballard, who competed at World Championships as well. So adding to the clears, Dara Kenny and VDL Cartello. And I mentioned another of those Olympic rides, Bardolina 2, with Mario Delorier for the Wishing Well Farm of Connecticut. They're New York based. Regular part of championship teams for the Canadians. Past winner of some big Grand Prix, including the Hampton Classic over the years.
This combination were 10th in the World Cup at Toronto. just last month. But as you say, Mario Deslauriers, what a great rider to see in action here. 3 Olympics, 3 World Equestrian Games, 13 World Cup finals and 2 Pan Am Games on his record. It's incredible.
Yeah, good consistent performer for the Canadian team in recent years as well. And this pairing together have had some very steady rounds from that point of view, in a good way, in that they're a really good pair to turn to if you're looking for that clear round when it's needed. This is one that could be very much in the mix this week. Got the consistency.
Have a really good clutch of top-level Canadian riders here, actually. There's so many to watch out for. You know, you mentioned Erin, who obviously spoke to earlier, Tiffany Foster, just a couple of horses ago as well. You know, Sean Jobin there as well. We've also got the likes of Amy Miller here this week. Vanessa Mannix, who's been jumping really well recently as well.
There we go. Consistency is the watchword. And there we go. It is Mario Deslauriers and Bardolina 2 to put themselves into the next round as well. So that's what, 5 established into round 2. And there we go. It is going to be Mario Deslauriers. Like I said, it's a very good pairing together. Looking forward to seeing them. 2 on the bounce there very swiftly. Derek Kenny in that lineup as well. And of course, we saw a little bit earlier on McLean Ward, Mimi Gotchman and Connor Swale.
You know, we've got some really big names here into the jump off as well, which just makes, you know, Mimi Gotchman's achievement of getting through in this elite group of 5 all the more impressive. It reminds you of that fantastic performance at Angelstone where she came 3rd. What a fantastic talent.
No, that's a super talent that he is as well, with Coronado now for the Evergate Stables. By San Patriano. Winner of the Tryon Grand Prix a few weeks ago as well.
Yeah, amazing performance there. He was the only double clear.
Yeah.
So, of course, time was of the essence, but it wasn't something that necessarily played a factor in the end.
First and foremost is leave them all up. Double clear into the final few, and you're not going to be far away. Ricky Belinda Barkham did that in Monterey about a week ago. Double clear there.
Yeah.
Took the Grand Prix for the Danish rider. That was the week following Major League. Niall down with us in Monterey a few weeks ago as well. The horses making their way up here to California.
Niall's won some huge Grand Prix, some huge money Grand Prix in his career, and certainly I'm sure we'll have an eye on this
Well,
week
exactly.
as well.
He won the Queen's Cup this year. That had $1 million, I think, Canadian dollars attached to that one. But it's still 7 numbers against the winner's figure, so that makes it feel good, and that makes it feel good too with a clear, 72.60. And so it is the 6th of the clears now, 3 in a row. Now Nasa and Coronado. I did say the second half is full of some seriously big players. Australia is one of them in there. I'm looking forward to seeing Hilary Scott and Oaks Milky Way coming up very shortly. Got Gregory Watherley, Cian O'Connor, Connor Swale, Alison Robitaille, Mimi Gotchman with a 2nd, and here he is, Gregory Watherley. Comes into view with Ace of Hearts and on a mare by Alejandro B. European medalist, Rolex Grand Prix winner in Aachen, won across the world. I don't remember watching him win in Shanghai. Superb rider, and actually made his base here out in California last winter, still part of this year, and as I gather is looking to again this time around going into 2024 as well. Certainly relish the Californian lifestyle. He's been jetting back and forth on a regular basis. He's been one of the busiest riders I've seen over recent weeks. He was World Cup winner a few weeks ago as well. Over in Europe. Been keeping himself on his toes.
Yeah, and as you say, having great results across the pond as well has helped him to remain very much there with the world's best. He's 30th in the world rankings at the moment. Plenty of top results for this horse recently as well. They were 3rd in our Major League Grand Prix of Monterey. Double clear there last month.
Yeah, that I think was Gregory's first appearance with Major League from that point of view, as he comes onto the team for the Trelawney Trailblazers into the closing light of the season. They've had some big signings on there.
Huge signings. They've actually got 5 of their 6 riders here this week as well, and they're just pulling out all the stops. Just been so successful this season.
And it continues, not unsurprisingly, with Gregory Wathley and Ace of Hearts giving us clear round number 7. So Gregory Wathley, McLean Ward, Connor Swale, Dara Kenny, Mario Delore. It's looking like a big week here. Hilary Scott, Oaks Milky Way. But it's been European-based out in the Netherlands. This Alice Cameron's Australian Warm Blood by Clearway. Hilary, who's also competed through to World Championships as well for Australia.
Yeah, real stalwart of the Australian team. She was part of the team clinching the Olympic qualification at Valkenswaard.
Oaks Prefix has appeared on a number of their horses that they've brought through now to 5-star level as well, with Hilary, who's, I say, long time being based over in Europe. Starting to get a few clears coming on the bouts, but then we're getting into a real depth of talent in this part of the class. Shadows lengthening again, sun just dropping, so we'll be probably going under the lights by the time we come round to the jump-off stage.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because the sun drops quickly here and fairly early in the day as well. It's really casting some shadows now, which is another thing that the riders have got to keep an eye on. It could be a little bit of an optical illusion in there. To be a bit careful. I mean, the sun is bright as well. It's fantastic conditions. Just got to be a little bit careful of those shadows.
Yeah, a few have just had that fence down as well. Whether anticipation of the double or just pushing too much coming off that side. Either way, 4 faults is still in the reckoning in this class. As I say, it's about establishing that position for Saturday night as well. Holds them off the last. Going to be on 4. Time's okay at 72.93, so 1 down for Hilary Scott. And Oaks Milky Way takes us up. That's around 30 completed of the 45 in the first round of this Pomponio Ranch sponsored class. And there is their sponsor's fence as our next walks up to it. Roberto Terán and DSP Callas. Roberto, the Colombian, on the German-bred horse by Kaskeni II. This 11-year-old. We saw him on Wakita a little bit earlier on. Another one just back from the Pan American Games the last few weeks as well. Different ride on that occasion. DSP Callas, not quite so many outings into these big 5 stars yet. What's been a very good year for Roberto. So several were coming into the second rise. Connor Swale coming up on a second. Mimi Gotchman, Matt Archer, Katie Laurie, Erin Ballard.
Yeah, Roberto seemed a little disappointed to have the fence down with BP Wakita earlier on. DSP Callas is another really consistent partner for him. This one's an 11-year-old mare. They're clear fairly consistently at this level. He actually jumped in a 2-star Grand Prix at Traverse City, though, in September. So
yeah, it hasn't done too much.
No, continues to try to step up to this level. Had plenty of top 10 finishes this year, though, 17 in fact.
Just pulls off another fence there as well. Going to be a couple down for Roberto Terán, also part of Team Helios here this week. Was former winners of the championship here at the Desert Horse Park. Finishing on 8 faults, 73.60 for a second ride there for Roberto Terán. Not Not troubling, unfortunately, our group of clears so far, but as you say, not done too much at this level yet. Been a move up for Callis into these bigger classes over the last few months. A mix between the 5 and the 2-star levels. And as Erin Ballard was saying a little bit earlier on, there's enough jumping out there in this course.
Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty to take in. Some difficult lines, and the fences are big enough as well.
Cian O'Connor and Highland president. Newer acquisition for the O'Connor stable. Highland president that was with Trevor Breen for a long time, jumped through to Nations Cup finals, I think, on 2 occasions.
Yes, 2022 and 2023, as well as the Europeans this year with Trevor as well.
Yeah, so good to see this horse. It's staying under the Irish flag and heads into the O'Connor stable.
It was a great horse for Trevor, as we were saying, but this horse has been jumping extremely well with Cian. So far, he's only jumped 8 rounds in FAI competition with this horse, but they've only dropped 1 pole across all of those. They've picked up some time penalties, probably just a sign of them getting used to each other. Yeah, but only dropped 1 pole, so a pretty impressive start.
And it's been a really good horse for Trevor to see, and obviously is a good horse. Otherwise, Cian wouldn't be looking to take it into his string as well. He'd be having his eye on. Obviously, we've got Paris next year. We've got big championships coming up over the next couple of years as well. And just starting to really bolster his big Grand Prix set of horses. There's a tap at the Oxer down that line. It'll be very interesting to see how this partnership develops. Cian will have worked together with his horse a lot at home as well to establish that partnership before they come here, what most people don't see. These things don't just happen at the horse show. That's a shame. Just cuts up to that Oxer. Just has the 1 fence down. Again, not the end of the world. Finishing on the 4 at 73.87 there. Just 1 down for Cian O'Connor and Highland president. Yep, deserving of a pat. Decent enough round for them. And plenty to build on there for the horse by Clinton out of Cannabella.
Really impressively bred, actually, Cannabella by Cannon.
The clue was there.
Clue in the name.
Clue was there. Usually not that far away. Off to now Connor Swale, Count Me In. Love to see this pair out. Again for the Mannon Farm, and this horse that's helped establish him right up there to world number 5 with a 16-year-old. Love to see them jump some terrific rounds in the last few weeks. Had a bit of a blip during the year, dropped down a level, and now feeling confident again back at this 5-star championship level 2 with Connor, which is great to see. He's again done a terrific job as a horseman. Always put the horse first, and they are a wonderful partnership together. And they have certainly delivered, but Crosby could well be one to pick things up for him this week. For Swale, who will have his eyes fixed, like all, probably 45 of them, having a go at the Grand Prix here on Saturday night as well.
It seems incredible that Connor hasn't won one of our Grand Prix yet this year, because he's been so nearly there with a couple of horses, and Crosby, Count Me In, as you say, is really just returned with quite a bang to this level. You know, the horse that he won the World Cup in Las Vegas with, as well as the qualifier there just a few weeks ago. He's actually had 8 wins this year so far, which is just an incredible record. Oh, what a shame. However, Connor already has 1 ride into the jump-off. We've seen him get 2 into the jump-off earlier on this season. Just 1 today.
May not be the worst thing for Crosby to sit out the jump-off here, have a good round here, get that underneath them, and just, you can see he's just quietening off on the final turn here to get a good finish. I don't know which direction he'll go in for the Grand Prix. We'll see, because he's also got Theo here too. So he's got a couple of options, and probably a third tucked up in his sleeve somewhere as well in here. Connor Swale there finishes just on the 4 at 74 seconds for the Irishman. But as you say, we're going to see him a little bit later on into the jump off as well. Alison Robitaille and Oakingham Lira. British bred mare by Tornesh. It's actually Swedish. It was the Tornesh that was ridden by Malin Bayard. What a run she had in Traverse City as well. She rode the winning round, as I remember, in the team competition going back to the first Traverse City.
Oh, brilliant performance.
Yep.
6/100ths of a second was her winning margin, I think.
Yep.
And that's all it can take.
Massive, massive winning margin.
So
it's
close.
so close. Brilliant. That's what it's all about.
Really done.
That's what it's all about. Alison, who's actually won Grand Prix all around the world, took a hiatus from the sport as well, won them under Alison Firestone. World Cups to Grand Prix over in Europe. Some of the big trophies as well in her cabinet back in that part of her career. And is now really coming back into the top flight in a great way. Always been a terrific rider.
Yeah, she's jumped well here before as well. She's had Oakingham Lira to a podium finish in a 4-star Grand Prix here earlier on this year. Interesting to see if they stay here for a while after these competitions.
Some of the riders last season are probably going to be the same. When I say season, when we talk about the American season, it's more coming into the January, February, March, where it definitely comes into its own, because many escape to the sunshines, whether it's California or Florida. But some mix between the two. Have horses here in California, have horses here in over in Florida, if you're in that luxurious position. And Connor Swale is one of those. Or some might just come out for the big 4-star weeks, do a couple of weeks out here and take home the money, which is what Ali might do here, because she goes clear at 70.91. Alison Robitaille and Oakingham Lira delivering on the clears, saying what a good rider she is. There we go. Clear round number 8 of the list so far. Alison Robitaille and Oakingham Lira, as we saw fly around earlier on this season, get another good shot. Mimi Gotchman, second spin around for the young American, with the Gotchman Sport Horses of Palm Beach's Selena BH. The mare by Canstaco. Already established into the jump off with Cosmos BH, BH being Baxter Hill, their home base. Well, it's going to be 1 into the jump off for Mimi.
Yeah, really unfortunate to have an early fence down. It's a long way around this course, a long way around this quite large arena. You have a very early fence down like that, but I'm sure she'd be really pleased to have at least 1 into the jump off in any case.
Recovered there through the double.
Taking her time now.
Yeah, gathers back up on the turn there. Just says, "Wait for me, listen to me." Back we come. There we go. Finishes well. Going to be on 8 full, 74.08, and 2 down this time for Mimi Gotchman and Selena BH, but already with a place booked into the jump off. So she only has 1 to concentrate on, but that's more than several. So she has 1 to take a spin at this class with for Mimi. Adrian Sternlicht and the Starlight Farm of Greenwich, Connecticut's Ordiga, Belgian Warm Blood by Thunder van der Zutevere. Now again, newer horse for Adrian to bring into this level. 9-year-old. Only really this season been their move into this level.
Yeah, certainly most established to the kind of 145 height, and as you say, now really making moves at this level as well, but only a 9-year-old.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. We're into December by this point, or just about to be by tomorrow.
Almost.
Almost, just on the fringe. It's December somewhere in the world already. And it means that, you know, these horses, 9-year-olds, they're just coming to the tail end of their 9-year-old year. It's time to say, let's have a go. Let's, you know, even if you've been feeling a little bit, you know, like it's been a building year, some 9-year-olds might be much further ahead. You take a Sapanu Balubay that's been winning Grand Prix at 9. Others might take that extra year to say, okay, let's just get used to this 5-star level, because it's not small, it's not easy. And it could be very interesting. So she's got some very good string of horses around her again, just been building that up over the last 12 months or so. Another one going nicely this week, Los Angeles.
She's also been getting the miles on the clock with this horse through the team competitions as well. Or the home team, the Roadrunners as well.
Yeah, looking more and more closer to the finished article, going clear there for Adrian Sterlings and Ulrike. So giving them a clear, puts them as the 9th clear on the board. And one to watch out for as we establish through the season and into next for Adrian. You can see this, and early part of Wellington being a good proving ground for them. Matt Archer once again, Monseigneur, 11-year-old Belgian horse by Halifax, which is an excellent stallion that was ridden and by the Italian so successfully. Now Matt Archer, second spin for him. This horse by what was Lorenzo De Luca's former ride.
Yeah, you know, again, a combination quite on form. 5th in the World Cup at Sacramento. They performed well here as well in the past. Racing well in some speed classes here last year. Again, relatively inexperienced at this level. Only 5 rounds at this height. Only 7 at 145 height. So, again, a building partnership for sure. It's an interesting competition here because we do have that mix of established talent and those younger up-and-coming riders. And in terms of the horses, we've got some very established championship horses as well as these younger up-and-coming ones as well.
Yeah, it's a week, especially with the Coachella Cup this week. Really a week to bring out your established stars if you're going for the big money like that. Just sitting on the 4 as it stands at the moment. And so going to be 1 added for time, total of 5 at 76.50. 5 for Matt Archer and Monseigneur. Say locally based on the Reese Farms of Woodside, California, but again we'll spend his winters here at the Desert Horse Park. It's definitely not a chore, very pleasant place to be. Highly recommended. Katie Laurie may well do the same. Django the second, based up in Canada, Okotoks, Alberta. Flies under the flag of Australia. Zardano and the line of Flower Power, which goes back to her World Championship horse as well in Delphi.
And once again, this is a bit of a favourite venue for this combination. They jumped well here earlier on in the year, won a 3-star Grand Prix, 3rd in a 4-star Grand Prix. and they were in the top 10 in the 5-star Grand Prix here in 2021 as well. Django, as you say, her horse for the World Championships in 2022. And they were 5th in the World Cup at Las Vegas earlier on this month.
So should be coming in on a good bit of purple form.
Very much so. She's just hanging right a little bit there through the double combination, but managed to not let that bother them too much.
Katie getting the back on the turn, get across it. Time's okay. Yep, does a good job. 72.44, and so Katie Laurie and Django the second will take us into double figures for the jump off. And so Australia in alongside the USA, in alongside Belgium, in alongside Egypt, in alongside Canada, in alongside Ireland, all taking a run at this class, this ranking class here this afternoon. Erin Ballard, second ride for Erin now. This Lanfear's Gakia. World Championship ride as well. Like I say, you're not turning up this week with experiments. You're turning up with established partnerships, generally.
Yeah, really established. Very much the riders are bringing their top horses here. Erin earlier pipped herself for a top placing here, so fingers
Why not?
crossed.
Why not?
Fingers crossed it's their day today.
Yeah. Have the confidence. Otherwise, why are you here? Yeah.
I have to say, as a rider, she's
got every chance.
Absolutely. She's extremely consistent across the 3 years of Major League in terms of placings in the 5-star Grand Prix, as we were saying earlier. 3 times in the top 5 this year, and last year 3 times in the top 10 as well.
Yeah, and this, as you say, this year I was looking at her stats. I mean, she's sitting in what, equal third at the moment, but it's as you say, those top 5s plus I think it was around about 10th, 11th place in there as well.
Yeah.
She's been every Grand Prix, she's generally been there or thereabouts.
Yeah, certainly not far away.
Yeah, not necessarily first spot, but in a definitely a big money spot.
Yeah.
And it's the consistency that keeps bringing the prize money home for them. There we go. They should bring home a little bit more. Was absolutely right to be picking herself in there. That's, you know, that's how it should be. Are we going to get this done? I'm going to get this done. And she could well do. So Erin Ballard, Gakia, goes clear at 71.93 and adds to the list of clears. What's that? 11 now.
Yeah.
Into the jump off, and we're getting a good number out of this. Still sees Alex Volpe, Cassio Rivetti, Cara Chad, Kathleen Driscoll, Vanessa Mannix, and Kent Farrington left to come. Alessandra Volpe and Belinda from Woodside, California. And a horse that she's jumped in a number of the big 5 stars now, whether it's Nations Cups, World Cups. Really, the horse very much at the top of the string, been a really good partnership. Former ride of Hans-Dieter Dreyer, and has really gone as the last few seasons as a well-established pair. But they finished very well in the World Cup qualifier in Washington and really haven't looked back from that point. Training here, new partnership training with Marcus Bierbaum. Just such a confident pair together as well. But she's been competing over World Cups in Europe previously as well. Nations Cup, been getting some really good experience. Belinda now 15 years of age.
Yeah, they jumped at the World Cup legs in Madrid, in Helsinki, and in Oslo last season. This summer, placed 5th in the Longines Falsterbo Grand Prix. Those are always extremely hotly contested. They've had a little bit of a break from international competition. Their last show was at Spruce Meadows in September. They've just had a little bit of time off, keeping things fresh coming here.
Back in and just on the 4 here. Again, decent enough round for them. Quite a few there, just with one rail on the ground, so leaving them on 4 faults to 72.65 for Alex Volpe and Belinda this time. Casio Rivetti, Billy Dorito. The Monarch Farms of Rancho Santa Fe, California. This horse from the Billy Stud that was bred over in Great Britain by Billy Mexico from the line of Billy Faristo. Casio Rivetti, the Brazilian's second ride. It's part of the Spico Spies into the latter part of the season as well.
Yeah, Spico Spies had a little bit of a change around in Monterey to finally finish on the podium. First time they've managed to do that this season. Quite different to their season in 2022, that they were very consistent.
Yeah, been interesting because it's not quite been their year. It's not been bad, but just not been as they've been constantly in those podium finish in previous years. They just haven't quite had that this year. It's just been eluding them, not through any massive step back or anything like that. Casio Rivetti, good signing for them. Like I said before, when we were talking about him, based here in California now for the Brazilian, but really built a good business over here now. You see the shadows just darkening off, and it's not too late into the day. It's only just just coming up to 3:40 local time, but it has dropped very quickly. Sun drops behind the mountains as well, and
Really unique spot here, isn't it, in terms of the light and how quickly the light changes, and as you say, the fact that the mountains are all around, and that really affects the light as well.
64 degrees in thermal California. There you go. Thank you to the team giving us the full weather report. Good thing is they've got some fabulous lighting here. Rob Meadows is part of the team behind Desert Horse Park. That's his business in many of the big stadiums. So got just the man for putting this together. Casio Rivetti puts it together with a score of 12 this time, unfortunately, 79.62. Not quite the round they would have wanted for them. Leaves them out of the running on a dozen. Cara Chad and Kedamo F on this 13-year-old by Quality. And we've seen some really good stuff out of her this year in this partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. Has a few good clear rounds with this horse. This is a 13-year-old now. And, I mean, this is a horse that jumped at on the Sunshine Tour earlier this year over in Europe. And they've scored either 4 or less in 2/3 of their rounds this year, so they are pretty consistent, just either having one pole or a time penalty or a clear. They're quite consistent. Cara, as you can see from the icon next to her name, now part of the Show Plus Northern Lights as well.
It's mandatory for Canadian.
Yes, exactly, yeah. Real Canadian flavour.
It's got a real Canadian flavour to the team. They always have one on the team that isn't Canadian, but the rest of the team is very much Northern and lighting things up. Northern Lights actually have had a decent enough season this year. A number of podium finishes for them as well.
Yeah, very good earlier on in the season. They're just falling foul of a couple of the other teams really coming up in the second half. You know, Team KPF and the Roadrunners have been quite strong in the second half of the season, or certainly more so than in the first half, and it's just been a little bit the opposite for the Northern Lights, but certainly better than last season, as you say.
so far. Just should be enough for time. Sit up. Might just get a little too close to this. 76.19. I did have a should with a little bit of extension coming out because it's one time, I'm afraid, for Karachad and Kidamo. F just didn't quite have the strong finish that they'd want there to get that done. Just there, ticks over to give them 0.19 over the time allowed, and so finishing on one time. Puts her into 12th place. Top dozen for Karachad, Kathleen Driscoll and Rom now. The self-run second ride again for Kathleen. This has been a really well-established winner through the season, like I mentioned earlier on in Traverse City, notably, and mainly because she based there through the season, but can win pretty well anywhere. Came out of the American Gold Cup well too. I'm going to be interested to see. So we've got 11 clears at the moment. Karachad just dropping into that 12th place on the one-time fault. Good so far. Nice balanced round. She has really built a good partnership with this horse. And again, it takes hours of establishment. She spends time in the stables with them as well. They are around each other. They certainly become friends, trust each other. Nicely done at the moment. Kathleen Driscoll looking to continue this year in good fashion. Can she get it home? One more to go. Time keeps ticking, should be okay. And there we go, 74.22. And will mean 12 into the jump off now with Kathleen Driscoll and Rom getting home with a clear 2. Vanessa Mannix and Lahar, 12-year-old by Verdi. Again, we haven't seen with Vanessa too much into this level yet. Vanessa training with Connoisseur as she has been for a very long time now. Probably had one of her best years so far this year. Consistency's been the key. Being Canadian, she's on the Northern Lights team. Drags that one with them, I'm afraid. Vanessa jumping this horse in the recent World Cup shows in Toronto and in Las Vegas. Was finished so well in Vegas too for a second spot there. And so going to leave them on the 8 faults so far, 76.41, 8 this time for Vanessa Mannix on the 12-year-old. So we're just leaving us one left to go. That being Kent Farrington. Kent, winner of the individual title here last year as well, and so for this year picked up that Grand Prix win at Angelstone, just back from the Pan Am Championships as well, individual silver there too. So Kent Farrington to round out round one. Landon now 10 years of age. A very good year for them that's seen Kent right up those world rankings to the top 10 once again. Focus, concentration on the double, hitting the spot. Just heading on around here with ease so far. If he's last to go in this, always going to be dangerous as well. But he's going to have his mind very much focused on Saturday on that $1 million Coachella Cup, though. So how much he goes to the well here, we will see. Who will do whatever suits this pair, and clear rounds certainly suit them. They wear them well. Clear round there for Kent Farrington and Landon. So that will give us our final one. 13 of them in all going through to the jump off. Kent Farrington, Hetty McNerney's Landon is going to be a dangerous one to go last. So we're going to take a look at how that's played out after the first round of competition as our team set up for the jump off. Alan Wade with his assistants there, Jerry Roycroft, Peter Grant building here this week as well. They've brought a whole list of top names from Design World as well to be a part of the weeks here. And there you can see the sun just setting down, the light's about to take over in full force for the jump off. And let's take a look at who's going to be a part of that, because there's going to be 13 of those with Connor Swell and Theo 160, Mimi Gotchman. Second one for the USA will be McLean Ward and First Lady. Dara Kenny of Ireland, VDL Cartello on his Olympic ride. Mario Deloria, Olympic ride 2 with Bardolina 2. Nal Nassar and Coronado for Egypt. Belgium, Gregory Wathley, Ace of Hearts. Alison Robitaille and Oakham Lira. That is then going to be Adrian Sternlich, the less established Ulrika, and there's big classes. Katie Laurie, Django the second. Watch out for her. That could be one that could come out of this pack as well that you might not be expecting, but she has all the firepower that could shake up this class yet. Those are going to be some of the early combinations to go into this jump off from that point of view. Still a few to come on the lineup yet to complete, and they're going to be some fast ones to take us out of this jump off as well. But we could see some early fast runs from the likes of Connor Swale and McLean Ward to say, but this is going to be the establishing class for them. Those are the rest of the clears with Erin Ballard, Kathleen Driscoll, Kent Farrington. So an extra little bit of pressure on the line here for those into the jump off. Do they want to try and go for a top spot? They're really thinking about not necessarily this class, if they can pick that off, great, but also thinking about being last, being pole position come Saturday. Kent Farrington, Landon last to go there. Cara Chad, the rest of these are going to be established in their position, makes no difference to them. It is one time for Cara Chad, just missing out there into 14th. Sean Jobin on the 4, Ashley Bond, Carl Cook, Roberto Terran, Alex Volpe, Hilary Scott, all just on the 1 down on the 4 faults for them as well for our top 20. And those set to return, 13 of those left to go into the jump off. There you see across the San Juan range of mountains here at the Desert Horse Park, and we're going to be back in a few moments' time to establish for the jump off.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Pomponio Ranch. Located in a peaceful, scenic valley between San Gregorio and Pescadero, Pomponio Ranch breeds, raises, sells, and trains world-class show-jumping horses. Choosing from top European bloodlines, Pomponio Ranch stallions have enjoyed outstanding careers at heights of 1.50 m, and their breeding mares have had successful jumping careers, with many achieving elite status from the Belgian Warm Blood Society. Visit them online at pomponioranchstallions.com.
Decibels booming in your bone marrow. Take a deep breath in.
'Well, there we see the wonderful colours of La Quinta, based just up the road from here, from the Desert Horse Park. Just hearing a few of those, 4 of those in fact, not coming back for the jump off. We'll establish for those for you as we go. And here are those qualifying for the jump off. Those top 4, though, not returning for the jump off. Mario Delore, Erin Ballard, Niall Nassar and Gregory Watherley. They're going to keep their powder dry until later on into the week. And so there we go. Let's see them through. And some McLean Wars in there. Derek Kenny, Alison Robitaille, Adrian Sternlicht, Katie Laurie into the jump off here as well. And then those final 2 on the lineup with Catherine Driscoll and Kent Farrington. Those are going to be. And so those are the lineup. In fact, say 4 of those, I think, not coming back for the jump off. But I say that is going to be their decision. They have plotted out their week. So those 4 not coming back. Mario Delorier, Niall Nassar, Gregory Watherley and Erin Ballard not returning for the jump off. So Connor Swale will kick things off with Theo 160. Could put a lot of pressure on there for the combinations coming up for this. But as I say, a lot of thought is going to be on the 7-figure Grand Prix class that's coming up later on this week. Biggest prize money class in the United States this year. And Alan Wade just putting the finishing touches to his jump-off course here to round off this Pomponio Grand Prix qualifier. And we're going to hand over to Hannah to get a little view from the floor of what's going on.
Well, as we've just heard there, we've got a few riders not choosing to come back for the jump off. And just to recap those for you again, Mario Deloria, Niall Nassar, Gregory Wathley and Erin Ballard, all of those riders are opting not to come back for the jump off, saving their horses perhaps for Saturday's Grand Prix. A really interesting choice there, particularly for Erin Ballard, because she is joint third in the season standings at the moment. Gakia, her ride, she may well be saving for the Grand Prix with an eye on the individual championship perhaps as well. Of course, this has been a fantastic competition in its own right, a really tricky course, but plenty of clears coming in the second half. Joining those three that we had in the first half of the competition, we have Dara Kenny with VDL Cartello coming forward, Alison Robitaille and Oking Amlera, Adrian Sternlicht and Origa, Katie Laurie and Django 2, Kathleen Driscoll and Arom, and then Kent Farrington and Landon are also going to be coming back. That's another combination that's a really interesting one to keep an eye out for, because Kent is equal third with Erin Ballard in the individual standings. The better he performs here tonight, the later he will go in the Grand Prix. That's what's really crucial here. Of course, he's always a competitive rider and is sure to be looking for a top placing in tonight's competition as well. But he's got some hot competition to be contending with here. Connor Swale, 2 rides coming forward in round 1. One of those goes through to the jump off for him. He can focus all of his attention on Theo. Similar story for Mimi Gotchman with Cosmos BH, 2 rides for her in this competition. And again, 1 comes forward into the jump off for her. Those 2 very much now focusing on the 1 ride to get them the best possible result here tonight. McLean Ward, big name to contend with here as well. Dara Kenny on that fantastic ride for him, a World Championship ride in VDL Cartello is a fantastic one to look out for as well. Some young talent along with some established names coming forward in this jump off, as we saw in round 1 as well. But it's all to play for this qualifying competition, as well as fighting for the spot in the Grand Prix.
A few of the highlights of the class a little bit earlier on, and seeing some terrific combinations. For you just missing out, like Ashley Bond and Donatello, but they will be consoling themselves that this isn't the Grand Prix yet. And for others, well, it's going to be a chance to reflect on how it's gone and see how it might turn into something very different later on into the week. Just a few with just the 1 pence down as well, so that has certainly made it a very interesting class as well. Well, set to go into the jump off and shortened course. As you know how this works, it is fences 14 and 15. What does that mean? Well, actually, it's 2 new fences on the track over towards the entrance gate for the Oxer there. You can actually see that in the far part of your shot there, looking towards the mountains, actually to where Connor Swale is riding right now. And from there, it is back to fence 15, which is a vertical. Again, new fence on course from that point of view. 4A and B, which was the Bears double. And from there it is up the Arena 2 fence 6, the Pomponio Ranch Oxer then at the next. 7A, so they turned back there like we saw a little bit earlier on. They had plenty of room to get back to that. It's going to be somewhat tighter this time around, I would imagine. And from across the centre then to 10A, which was a double in there. Sunglasses. And with the palm trees around, Connorswell just having a little chat with Alan Wade down there, our course designer. And then they've got a good old gallop down to the last at fence 11, which is the Golden Horses Sculptures as the final fence as well. So Connorswell to lead things off with Theo 160. And say a few of those not jumping off, and so that whittles things down. What we were up to 30, so 4 not going, so down to 9 by my quick maths. But my eye is going to be on the time clock now for how this plays out. Connorswell to put them under pressure as our first to go. Starting off over this Desert Horse Park. Oxer away from the in-gate. Long way down there to the Major League fence, 13 strides in fact. But it's a fair old distance, mainly done off the eye by that point. Out of there in 17 seconds from fence 4. Quick to the sponsors fence. Again, doesn't want to drift too far, but just give himself enough space here to land and go, and he goes again. Getting ready to hurdle the sunglasses vertical. 36 seconds on the clock there, and tight up to the last to take them to 41.36 as the time for the first away into the jump off then with Connorswell and Theo 160. Gets a little bit of a tighter curve up to that last fence, squeezes stride out down there, but again with a long gap up there we haven't really established the stride pattern from that one. And so good start, Connorswell, as we expected. A quick one, 41.36. How that will play out, he's just got to wait and see now. Mimi Gotchman and Cosmos BH. Now for the young, talented American to follow up the Irishman, and she's revving the engines as well. Oh. Just went to cut across there and dropped the back pole. Better shot at the Major League fence. This is a good rehearsal for the rest of the week as well. And again, fast 4 may well put you in some good money yet. And as we mentioned numerous times, it also is key for that qualifying slot later on into the week as well. So none of it is wasted. Just coming home on the 4. Take a little more of a relaxed line than that of Connorswell. So on the 4, 47.13 for Mimi Gotchman. Just trying to shave off from the very start. Squared up at the final stride to the final fence. McLean Ward and Robin Parsky's first lady, 10-year-old for McLean. Now expect the usual slick, super smooth round. This is such a lovely partnership to watch now. Curves the line to start with. Oh, just tried to get a little bit on the angle. I think he was a stride less than Connor down there. Again, just on cruising speed now. Drops another one at the Pomponio Ranch Oxer, unfortunately. Again, good exposure for this horse, has been really being established into the 5 stars this year. Nice, the last, just leaves them on the 8, 43.86. A couple of seconds adrift of that of Connor Swale, and finishing with 2 down for the US rider. Dara Kenny, VDL Cartello for the Heathman farm. 16-year-old for the Irishman. Very little that these two need to learn together now. Keep an eye on the clock in comparison to Connor Swale. Sunshine now dropped away as we get into dusk. Just after 4 o'clock local time. Nice and tidy there. Out of there in about the same as Connor Swale. He was landing in 17 seconds as well. Yeah, you've got to be careful not to fire down there too quickly so you drift too far. He keeps a really nice, tight line down there. Now, Connor was over here a fraction quicker, I think. Yeah, there we go. It's going to be a nice round, but it's going to be, again, nearly 3 seconds drift, 44.10. Dara Kenny keeping up in the early part of the round. Just loses a bit of ground into the latter part, though. And so, he's the more time of 44.10 to go into second so far. Irish 1-2 at the moment. Connor Swale looking for his second win of the day. Alison Robitaille and Oakingham Lira. We know they can go quickly. We watched them do it in team competition several times this year. Good opportunity for them here. Straighter. Swale out of here in 17. She's maybe a fraction up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. She was trying to just put the brakes on there. Could see it was just going to get too quick and too fast and too ahead. Got across it cleanly. Had the reaction. Whoa, whoa. Really having to hang on the brakes, but it's still working. It's still quick. It's still going. It's not going to be quite enough. 41.83 for Alison Robitaille and Oakingham Lira, but gets the job done. They're like, wait, got there. Got there over the fence in the right position. And so Alison into second. Connor Swale still leading on 41.36. Dara Kenny in third on 44.10. Take us into our next few, and Adrian Sterlich and Origa, this 9-year-old. Just a little rehearsal of that turn from what is essentially 1 to 2. A pair that haven't been tested too much. Whoop. Little kick out, throws them off balance a little. Gets wider to that second fence. Adrian not feeling that that was right. Let's say they haven't done too many rounds into the big jump-offs like this yet. She wants them to come out with a good experience. Takes a circle. coming home on the 8 faults. So first round a good one, and that one to build on. Key is to come out of there with a good feeling. She didn't feel it was going to be right into that double down there. Nice shot at a couple of them. That one didn't quite work out. So that will come with time. Katie Laurie and Django the second for the Australian. 41-36 leading score at the moment. Again, this level, the whole group of them that go fast, they don't come here to hang around and do nothing. Katie has got plenty of speed in the tank. Just keeping Django nice and quiet before we say, okay, rev it. Now, pick up the canter. Establish the pace. Now, which is she? Well, she's going to go wide out there to get an angle across, which makes for a tighter line here. Just wanted to get a couple of strides away from that before they straightened. Didn't quite happen. Wide out into the corner as well. Katie not going deep into the well here this afternoon. And again, just not quite feeling that it's happening. Just wait. Okay, let's get this established. There we go. Nice over the last. Finishing on the 4, 57-58. Going to see some time on there as well. Total of 13. Still leaving Connor Swale, the first man out of the starting blocks, leading the pack so far, 41-36. Kathleen Driscoll just in the background. Also taking a look at the Major League fence. Final look around the Plain Bay Farms Aron. Just runs flat into that vertical as well. Otherwise okay. The challenge from a couple has faded away, unfortunately. Just leaving him on the one fence down. 48-38-4 for Kathleen Driscoll. And Rome this time, top three. Still reads Connor Swale, Alison Robitaille, and Dara Kenny. So just leaves us with Ken Farrington and Landon as the last to go. Again, well established for this now on this 10-year-old. Type of pace, balance, and ability. Establish the rhythm. That's where Kent's training so good, just ability to go at speed and have confidence with it. This is quick. This could be a second. Well, it's a similar that to Connor Swale landing, but could make more of an impression in the second part of the course. gets a good shot to the sculptures. Swale was across here in 36 seconds, so a little bit to make up, but it is not going to be far away. And Kent Farrington giving it a good shot, but leaving a little in the rafters for later on into the week. Goes into third for Kent and Landon, so he finishes in top 3. Alison Robitaille will be in second, and Connor Swale the winner. But nice round from Kent Farrington and Landon, establishing themselves for the week, but he's going to have his eyes firmly fixed on that Grand Prix on Saturday night. Gets a nice result here, will put them in a good position come Saturday. Now it is time to shift the focus. So that's what it looks like for our top 3 in this Pomponio Ranch sponsored class, and it is a win for Connor Swale and Theo 160. Very well done to the Irishman. Led off the jump off and finishes as the winning combination. And from there, Alison Robitaille, Ken Farrington, Dara Kenny, Mimi Gotchman, reading as a who's who of the top few. Some well-established stars in there, some upcoming pretenders that are certainly knocking a few of the big names off the throne over some big classes, starting to make themselves well-established. Connor Swale, Theo 160 will be your winner. Alison Robitaille second is Ireland, USA, USA, Ireland, USA, 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 Australia, USA, Canada for the top 10. Kent Farrington, top 3. Dara Kenny finishing in 4th. Mimi Gotchman, Kathleen Driscoll, McLean Ward there with First Lady. Couple down for them this time, which is a little bit surprised for those two. Katie Laurie on 13. Adrian Sterling picking up time there at 22 from that point of view, and several, 4 of those that elected not to jump off, and so definitely keeping the engines running quietly until Saturday night. That's the one they are after, that $1 million Coachella Cup presented by Brown Advisory later on this week. That's going to be 6 o'clock local time, Pacific Standard Time, over here in California. So you can set your watches however that will work for you. And you can watch that then, and that is going to be brought to you with all that we intend for the build-up there. A little bit further down the line, as I say, those are put as equal 10ths, but those are those electing not to jump off. Cara Chad was outside of that on 14th position. Sean Jobin, Ashley Bond, Carl Cook. Good to see him round there. Just on the 4, with that injury earlier on this week, but just going round for the 4 faults. And then Alex Volpe, top 20, and Hilary Scott, top 20 as well, for a second rider here for Australia. So looking good for a few, and a couple there, I think, maybe just keeping a little bit in the tank, ready for Saturday night. Of course, tomorrow is going to be the team class for Major League Jumping as well. Make sure you join us for that. That is going to be the 9th stage. 10th stage will be the final next week for the team finals. This week, the individual final. Next week is the team final. And next week, next Friday, we bring you a big 155 class from that point of view. So that will be what it looks like. And we're going to catch up with the winning combination. The leading combinations is Pomponio Ranch Grand Prix qualifier, who is down with Hannah, down by the side of the ring. It's a very good evening to her.
Yes, great to be here with Connor Swale. Fantastic win. Connor, congratulations. Talk us through your thoughts on that round.
Yeah, listen, Theo was excellent again, like he always is for me, thankfully. I was first to go, which was a bit of a tough draw because there were so many good horses and riders behind me. Yeah, it's just one of those times you've just got to start off with a nice gallop and pick everything up as well as you can, and hopefully it's going to finish with a nice result.
And you had 2 horses in the starting lineup today, just one coming through to the jump off, but you certainly didn't need the 2 rides here. Talk us through your choices on those 2 horses and what's the plan for the rest of the week?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Theo is honestly, he's been one of the best horses for me this year. He's jumped many big classes and has had many successes. And obviously Count Me In is one of the best horses I've ever ridden. He had a good win a few weeks back in Washington World Cup. So, you know, they're in good form coming in here, and I'm planning to do Theo tomorrow in the team. That's very important for us too. We want to get that finished off this week if we can. And Count Me In is planning to do Saturday night.
Of course, we have the individual final taking place this week, and you're not a million miles away in the standings. Do you have a bit of an eye on that? Is that in the back of your mind?
Honestly, not really. I'm just hoping for a nice result with Crosby, and obviously if we get near the top and it turns out that we're winning the overall, that's just a bonus. But not really. I'm just hoping that he jumps a couple of good rounds and we get a good placing on Saturday.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. We'd love you to be able to talk through your round if you don't mind. So I'll just ask you to take a little look over at the screen over there. We're going to have your round up here. Talk us through what was going through your mind in your approach round here.
Yeah, obviously one, I wanted to get a good gallop to 1 because it's a very long way to 2. I tried to be as neat and narrow as I could. I thought I got a nice shot there. Quite narrow in 9 strides again for him, so I closed that up quite well, I thought. Jumped in and out nicely. Again, then a very long way, so it's just about travelling down and trying to get a nice bit of balance to jump that oxer, make sure he jumps it nice and square off the ground. You're rolling back again, try and catch something nice and early. And then I thought he was very good here. I kept galloping and I saw one very far away and just decided to chance it, and he jumped that great. And then it just made the 6 nice and balancing, or sorry, the 8 nice and balancing, so as yeah, we can run through the finish. And
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Connor. Fantastic to hear you talk through that, and we'll let you get on with your preparations for the prize giving.
Perfect. Thank you, Hannah.
Well, what a competition. A little bit of a numbers game here tonight for Connor Swale. 2 horses in the starting lineup, just 1 through to the jump off. And of course, there can be only 1 winner, and Connor Swale takes the win here this afternoon. And he will be in a fantastic position when we go through to the Grand Prix. That takes place on Saturday night, but the action does not stop here today. Of course, as I say, that Grand Prix on Saturday, the team competition tomorrow evening as well. That will be on at 6 o'clock in the evening local time. Certainly one that you won't want to miss. And then that $1 million Grand Prix, that is on Saturday night. And again, that's a huge feature of the week, and one that all of these riders will be battling for top honours in, and certainly one that you won't want to miss. Join us again tomorrow night for the team competition.